Good evening. Welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, November 9. If you are watching live on Monday, November 9, we encourage you to call in with comments or questions. Our call-in number is 769-1677. As always, you can follow us live on Verizon or Cablevision Cable TV or at pctv76.org. Within a few days, you can pick up the current meeting as well as past webcasts, again at pctv76.org for on-demand viewing. Our next regular meeting is 2 weeks from today, Monday, November 23rd at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7 p.m. We have tomorrow night, Tuesday, November 10 at 7:30, our annual joint meeting with the Pleasantville School District Board of Education. That will take place again tomorrow, Tuesday, November 10 at 7:30 p.m., joint meeting of the two boards that takes place at Pleasantville High School. Wanted to report, and Patty, perhaps you can fill in the blanks, that any of you who've signed up for the Code Red emergency notification system should be aware that we're going to have a test of that system on Thursday, November 12th. Reminder that everybody who hasn't yet signed up should do so at pleasantville-ny.gov. It's a mechanism by which we can reach you in an emergency, and we'll only use it for that purpose. But Patty, you want to describe the test?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And it really is that simple. It's an all call. It'll also be an all text, or whatever people signed up for in whatever medium. They will get an announcement that basically says this is a test of our emergency alert system. Nothing is required from you at this time, and we'll repeat that message, and that would be it. And what that does is that allows us to take a look at the database to see how many hits we get out of all of the enrolled subscribers. And then we can go in and clean out either obsolete numbers or incorrect numbers, and then we can do another re-enrollment campaign from that point on. So it's time to test it. It doesn't cost us anything. It's part of our subscription to do that. And I think we should just do that
Yeah,
at least
that's great.
at least once every year and a half or so, as we've been doing.
So I'm guessing that the ranks of those people who actually watch our board meetings on TV may correlate highly with people who've signed up for this. But the bottom line there is, if you don't get a call, it means that you didn't sign up, and we really wish you would. Pleasantville-ny.gov. You will be glad you did in the event of an emergency, and it's a system we hope never to use. But after the Sandy superstorm, we wished we had it. Now we do, and we want you in the pool. So another announcement to make, and that is that we received a letter this week that's a follow-up to what some of you may have read in the press, and that is that Cablevision Systems, as of September 16, entered into a definitive merger with Altice NV, which is a European cable provider. I will read these two paragraphs. As you may have heard, on September 16, 2015, Altice and Cablevision entered into a definitive merger agreement whereby Altice will acquire Cablevision, whose subsidiary currently holds a franchise to offer service in your community. This transaction is the result of a merger of Altice and the parent company of the franchisee, and will, upon closing, result in a change in control of the franchisee in your community. The franchise and the franchisee will continue operation in effect as before when the transaction closes. Over the last decade, Altice has established itself as a premier global provider of video, phone, and internet with a reputation for providing excellent customer service. This is Cablevision itself telling us this. Like Cablevision, Altice has invested heavily in upgrading its facilities to keep its customers at the forefront of new communication technologies. Altice has no current plans to change the terms and conditions of service or operations of the system in your community. So, at any rate, I think any subscriber to Cablevision will hear more about this as this transaction takes place, and it has raised a couple of questions for us about our franchise agreement that we'll be following up on. But worth noting that anybody who currently is a Cablevision customer will find that they are now going to be a customer of the new purchaser of the company. So, had a bunch of other announcements to make. An extremely successful Halloween day, led off by an extremely successful walk-run for the Tina Gambino Scholarship Fund, a great event, and kudos to the Gambinos and to all the organizers of that event every year, and to the many people who participated. It was followed up by a great ragamuffin parade that ended down at Memorial Plaza, coexisting there with the farm market, and we had ghosts and goblins buying apples after the parade. So a good story all the way around, one of the great days in Pleasantville. A number of other interesting events happened. The Chamber of Commerce had one of its fall events honoring two companies, two businesses that are celebrating 100 years in Pleasantville. The first is Peter Camilli and Sons Construction Company, based down on Marble Avenue. Bobby Camilli and his family there to receive this honor, 100 years of operation in Pleasantville. And Graham Goldstein was there to receive the honor from the Chamber as well as the Village for 100 years at the Art of Wine, which has gone through several iterations, not originally obviously called the Art of Wine, but 100 years in Pleasantville. Extraordinary stories and well-deserved honors. The third honoree that night was Doris Sharp, our beloved crossing guard at the corner of Bedford Road and Romer Avenue. And we were happy to honor Doris for all that she does, and I gave her own highway caution sign that said, "Don't mess with Doris."
That working woman.
That, however, is a sign that's not truly needed because almost everybody who passes through that intersection is well aware. So I will say, any of you who care for Doris and are interested in the goings-on honoring the Art of Wine, and Bobby Camilli can pick up that again on-demand webcast. Am I right, Shane? Soon at PCTV, and it's a fun and amusing opportunity if you're interested in following it. So that will be available to you as well. Very, very, very happy event took place last week, and that was the official opening of the Henkel's facility down on Marble Avenue in the former MLA property. Those of you who drive by there with any regularity will note that Henkel's has been very, very busy in the last few weeks trying to complete landscaping and put in sod and grass and shrubbery, and the building has taken shape beautifully. It was designed by the Galen Beeler Design Studio, which just a few weeks ago had a ribbon cutting at their new office on Washington Avenue. So it's fair to say that our new biggest corporate tenant, a corporate owner in Pleasantville, New York, lives in a building designed by a Pleasantville-based design firm. Happy news, the folks from Germany came over, and extraordinary things going on in a really, really great building that has a big solar installation on the roof, very interesting automation inside, beautiful sleek offices in the front, including a demonstration kitchen that they will be using for public cooking classes, public knife skills classes, and a big room associated with that demonstration kitchen that will also be available for rental events for people who might be interested. So great stuff going on down at Henkel's, and we are utterly delighted to see that project completed and to have the Henkel Company as such an anchor of the Pleasantville economy on Marble Avenue. In a flurry of events last week, there was also a kickoff for the Hudson Valley Restaurant Week that took place at the Iron Horse Restaurant. County Executive Rob Astorino was there with News 12 to kick off the announcement for Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, which includes not only the Iron Horse but a bunch of other Pleasantville restaurants. Rob was pressed into service in a chef's outfit to complete the cooking of the Rob Astorino burger that was named for him that day, but a great opportunity to highlight the many culinary riches in the Hudson Valley, and can't think of a better place to do it than in the magnetic center of Westchester, Pleasantville, New York. So all that was great stuff going on. Would also like to remind everybody that November 11th is Veterans Day. There will be a Veterans Day ceremony taking place at 11 a.m. on the 11th. It's the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Easy to remember. That's Wednesday, November 11, down at the gazebo in Memorial Plaza. And we encourage anyone and everyone who's available at that time to come on down. Our Fancher Nickel American Legion Post does an extraordinary job in putting together a meaningful service with music. This year's invited speaker is former Mayor and County Legislator John Nona. So it will be another nice event taking place this Wednesday, and I encourage everybody to appear. Lastly, on this long list of things I've been reporting, the Chamber of Commerce has a bunch of great events planned, as well as the Rec Department, including the community lighting of the tree and the dreidel at the corner by Manville Road. That will take place on Wednesday, December 7 at 7 p.m. Again, thanks to the Rec Department, the Fancher Nickel American Legion Post, the Chamber of Commerce, and our friends at Pace University who will be distributing hot chocolate as they have in the past. So, holiday open house for the Chamber of Commerce is taking place Saturday, December 5. There's going to be an ice sculpture demonstration going on in, is that in Jackson Alley?
That is
Great.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be in Jackson Alley this year.
You have to see
Yeah.
that if you haven't.
So that's Saturday, December 5. The ice sculpture demo is going to be roughly 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Totally a fun thing to see and a great encouragement to shop downtown Pleasantville. They're going to have music in the village with carolers from
What time does that start?
the demo. The ice sculpture demo is 11 a.m. to 4 approximately.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
So December 12th, Music in the Village, the high school Camerata Singers caroling door to door, the Holiday Instrumental Ensemble, musicians from the high school, the middle school, and Boy Scout Troop 12. They're going to be door to door 10 a.m. to noon. Ensemble downtown are 11:45. They're going to be up at the Old Village from 1 p.m. to 1:45. So all of which is a long-winded way of saying shop downtown Pleasantville. There's great stuff for all of you. And a shout out to the folks at the Chamber of Commerce and their colleagues at PCTV,
Great job.
who have been in the midst of putting together the annual holiday video, which is both an amusing opportunity to see a whole bunch of merchants and business people downtown, but also a great opportunity to be reminded of the fact that there's almost nothing on your Christmas list you can't fulfill within the friendly confines of 10570. Anything else?
Can I just ask?
Go ahead, Cindy, and then I'll go
Thank
after
you.
you.
This past weekend was beautiful weather, so and the leaves have all fallen. So we have our streets have lost about
right,
10
half their
feet.
width. Right.
and there's leaves piled up. So I was just wondering when we're going to get out there because it's getting dangerous on certain streets.
We're out.
We were out there
working on
today.
the holiday.
I didn't see
a
where
lot
you
of
were
leaves
today.
a lot of leaves were
Where-
picked up.
I know that they do sections, but so I don't know what.
They're working
section
on the
you
holiday
did.
as well. Yeah, there is a hotline to call in for the leaf.
So that
pickup
isn't
zone, but
actually,
it's-
Patty, could you clarify that? Because I was asked that question yesterday.
Yeah, I was.
Is there a hotline to call in to find out about the region that's being picked up in a
It
given
should be
day?
on 3883, but I'll make sure tomorrow that
All
they
right.
set it up. And we used to have a map where people had.
Well, the
Right, that's
map
what-
is on the web, but it would be
Yes.
nice also to put up on the web the predicted schedule, recognizing to all that can get
Yeah.
morph a bit depending
Correct,
on what
but it gives
happens.
people an
Because
idea.
I'm not real good with that map, and that's why I was so glad when we
Well,
came out with
and
the
your road's very narrow. so
recycling
I
thing.
could
Because
see-
when
Okay.
when I'm left to put out recycling, I never get it right. But the usually the first areas to be done are the main thoroughfares, and specifically Bedford Road, and really there is walls that are like 8
pretty
feet
tight.
high. Ashland, just school routes. I'm thinking there's Ashland is a huge school route. That road is literally about 6 feet wide at this point.
Well,
So-
I don't know whether they got to Ashland, but I saw
They
them out
did not.
today
I drove down there
with the
again
claw
today.
working on a bunch of stuff near the schools.
Well,
Just
the claw? Where's the vacuum? It's not stopped up or anything.
Everything's out.
Okay.
They're out. They're
All right.
okay.
All right. I just want to make sure because I had some
No,
residents.
and
do
I know
that.
they're working the holiday, and that helps because
Okay.
school's
So
closed.
they're working Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Colleen, you had
Oh, I just had two updates with regard to Pleasantville Strong. As we announced a couple of weeks ago, Pleasantville Strong received the federal grant, $625,000. So we have been interviewing coalition coordinators, the steering committee, along with Patty, who joined us because the village is the fiscal agent, and we should have some good news to report on that in the next couple of days. The second thing is I just wanted to let everybody know that on Wednesday, November 18th, the third Wednesday of the month, we're going to have a great event at the library called Guiding Our Daughters. We have two specialists who are going to come in and talk about girls' issues, self-esteem, anxiety, and the specific issues that affect girls who become addicted to drugs and alcohol. We have Linda Dahl-Vogel, who's a New York Times bestselling author, and Rachel Schoolcraft, who's a psychiatrist. So we invite everyone to attend.
Thank
Did you want to mention the telephone scams thing? That
Oh,
was
go
going
ahead,
on?
Steve. Yeah.
This is just sort of a heads up. I got several of these over the course of a couple days last week. There are telephone calls being made to numbers in Pleasantville. The persons are usually identifying themselves as U.S. Treasury agents, and you need to call them right away. There's a problem and all that. You can look it up online. It's a scam. It's not real. No one from the Treasury is going to call you and ask for money or your Social Security number or anything like that. But they're pretty aggressive, and they've been calling in Pleasantville. I got 7 calls in 2 days. And then I finally called the number back and asked him to tell me his Social Security number. And he got mad and hung up. But it's an important thing to maybe just be aware of, especially if you know elderly folks in town or somebody who's maybe not paying attention to that sort of stuff all the time and could get very scared. The stuff they say does make you nervous. They're good at it. So just maybe a word to the wise. I don't know if they're only doing U.S. Treasury calls, but if somebody calls you and they're asking for this kind of information, no federal agency is ever going to call and ask for that stuff over the telephone. So just a heads up.
Thank you for that. And then the last thing I wanted to add, I meant to mention when I spoke about the Henkel's opening, and I mentioned this because a bunch of people had asked me that
Coming up.
Yes.
the warehouse sale
Yeah,
for
the warehouse
Henkel's
sale, right.
is for the first year in its history occurring in Pleasantville, New York. So that's starting on Friday, November 20. It runs for 2 weeks if you're interested in that.
Yeah, that's
you
it.
can Google and get all the
Jot that one
details.
down.
You can Google and get all the details, but
Never been. It's an experience.
I didn't
Just to
know that, so I asked
reiterate,
the chief to
Be
put it
hydrated.
on the web and talk to them, but you're right, they talk to everybody.
It's an extraordinary corporate partner for the Village of Pleasantville, a great owner of that building, and they sell their product line includes knives and glassware, cookingware, scissors and cutlery of all kinds, tableware. It's an expanding product line, all beautiful stuff imported from various places, and every product that is sold under the Henkel's name in the United States will pass its way through Pleasantville, New York. So really happy news, and congratulations to Henkel's, and a shout out to their U.S. and European leadership because they've already proven themselves to be good neighbors to us, and we look forward to a long run. So. All right, anybody else?
Nope.
Just want to report and apologize a little bit belatedly for a late start. We had a couple of meetings that in work session to begin with, including a discussion with our beautification committee led by Kathy Dinkle about some of the areas they would like to see some special attention paid in the coming year, and also a meeting with our library director, John Fearon, and a bunch of members of the library board, including I think all of the Pleasantville Village members, about the budget that they have put together. So as we commented to them, the library has provided really, really good service with increasing metrics and impressive results on a very, very tight budget over a long period of time. So happy to have all those folks, and a shout out to them for the good job they do. Get yourself over to the Mount Pleasant Public Library and take advantage of all that's offered. With that, we'll go to the resolutions. 185, Steve.
Resolved that pre-check, Resolved that pre-check register dated November 9th, 2015, covering pre-check numbers 2392 through 2446, 81856 through 81867, and 81858 through 81978 has been reviewed, and they are hereby approved as listed below. From the general fund, the special purpose fund, the water fund, the capital fund, the refuse fund, the pool fund, and the trust and agency fund for a total of $266,841.10.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions on the check register?
I do. I'm just curious about a couple of things. I noticed a repeating number, $104.90 for Medicare reimbursements. I just don't know what that is. What is that? There are a whole bunch of people, and they're getting reimbursed for something,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
those are retirees. We're obligated to reimburse them their portion of Medicare Part B payments that they pay. NYSHIP, our health insurance plan, New York State's health insurance plan, NYSHIP, the Empire plan, compels any participating employer to reimburse the retirees their Medicare Part B.
We don't
And
do
in
that. We don't
turn,
do
they
that.
give us a reduced premium for our retirees.
Oh.
We pay a lesser rate for them into retirement
Well, we don't. This isn't monthly. I haven't seen this before, so it
It's
must
quarterly,
be
isn't it?
You'll
quarterly,
see
maybe.
it- Well, I don't know how, that's a good question. I don't know how they come in. I thought they
It
were
just struck me
monthly.
because there's so many.
Yeah.
The numbers repeated so many times
Yes,
because
yeah.
we got a lot of people who retired from this village. I know.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's reimbursement of their Medicare Part B payments that they're obligated to make once they're eligible for that, because that becomes their primary coverage in retirement by law.
And the other thing that I saw, the
Medicare
question.
takes over.
The only other question I had was I saw a $1,200 and some odd dollar item for a Broadway show. What was that event?
1,200.
That's the
some-
senior center,
Is
isn't
it
it?
the senior
Tickets?
center?
It should be. And can you tell me what code it is, or is
It's a reimbursed expense.
Of course, I mean, no, it's
Okay,
reimbursed
yeah.
expense. I was just wondering what the event was. It was a senior event?
I don't know. Do I have to see
I
what
thought it
code
was
is?
because it was on
I'm
her
not
last
questioning the
calendar.
charge. I'm just.
That show.
It could have been seniors, or it could have been run through the recreation center for
Yeah, that's-
teens. They sometimes
I
have
thought
a
that
teen
show
thing,
was on the senior
but
list.
It could have been.
Okay.
To go see. You know
Just
how
thought
she
it-
does that
I just thought it
calendar.
was interesting that we're working with whatever group it is. to,
Whatever she
you know,
went to
do
was the
something.
cheapest ticket
Sometimes she
around.
buys.
I
Sometimes
just
she
got tickets
buys,
to Hamilton and
oh,
two
I get
tickets was
for
that.
Hamilton? Oh, that's fun.
I'm going Wednesday night to see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that's fun.
I can't believe what a popular show that is. Alexander Hamilton.
It's great.
It's a Wesleyan guy
Yeah, it's a Wesleyan guy, is right.
who
Yeah.
wrote it.
It
So
was
often,
81,864. But
sometimes
Sorry?
Linda buys
81,864.
a group of tickets, and if she could sell them through the from the
rec.
rec,
Category,
and
you
then
want
they
the
go as a
category
group.
code?
That's great.
Who's it payable to?
Broadway show something rotten, 12 tickets. All tickets Inc.
All tickets is the vendor?
Yep.
It's all
What
right. It's
page
either-
is it on?
It is
Oh,
on
page,
page
9, Patty. Here it is.
9.
Thanks. Page 9. Something rotten?
That's
Okay.
the name of the
That's a Broadway
show.
show, yeah.
81,864.
It was
Check
charged to
number
6. Yeah, it was charged. It's a senior account.
Senior account. So the senior account. That's great.
6757 is senior.
Yeah, that's seniors.
And the seniors pay into that. It's not.
They do. They
not
buy
free.
their tickets.
They buy the tickets. So.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah,
any-
yeah. I
Right.
wasn't questioning the charge. It was just I was curious
Questioning the
about what
choice
the-
of show. you know.
No, I was curious about the event and then how we do that. That's good.
All right. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Mindy, 186.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of Village Attorney Judson Siebert, hereby approves the certiorari settlement for the matter of Sperber doing business as Larissa. Did I say that right? Yes. Realty Company, 39 Marble Avenue, Section 106. .6, Block 5, Lot 63 as follows. For the year 2012, the prior assessment was $126,050. New assessment $73,500. The reduction is $52,550, and which is the reimbursement. I think that's supposed to be $4,443.59. 2013, same assessment, prior assessment 126,050. New assessment is 77,350, reduction of 48,700 for a reimbursement of $4,233.82. 2014, the new assessment is $81,850 for a reduction of 44,200 for a reimbursement of $3,953.06. And 2015, new assessment of $80,400, a reduction of $45,650 for a reimbursement of $4,148.19 for a total of $16,778.66. And further resolved that the village treasurer is authorized to issue the applicable refunds in the amount of $16,778.66 to the petitioner's attorney upon receipt of an executed order from the court.
Is there a second?
Second.
Property in question is the former Pizza Hut building, and the settlement that's proposed here has been described to us in detail in a confidential memo from our legal counsel. We understand that property has or is about to change hands, and we look forward to a rich future for it. More on that as it develops. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of Jeff Econom, Superintendent of Public Works, hereby appoints Brian Doring to the position of Motor Equipment Operator, effective November 16, 2015, at a salary of $56,844. Said appointment is subject to the rules and regulations of Westchester County Department of Human Resources. That includes a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is filling a vacancy
It's filling a recent vacancy, yes.
in an existing slot, no change in our overall head count.
Correct.
Happy to welcome Brian to the ranks of the employment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 188, Joe.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of the police chief, hereby approves the appointment of Frank Landy as a school crossing guard effective November 9, 2015, at a salary of $20.62 per hour.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is backed up by a memo from the police chief indicating that Mr. Landy would be a fill-in for crossing guards when someone is absent. Happy to add to that list to reduce the likelihood of a coverage problem. All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 189, Steve.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to join the Nassau Community Cooperative Bidding Program at a cost not to exceed $400.
Is there a second?
Second.
Patty, you want to describe this?
Sure. Municipalities are able, under general municipal law, to come together to join consortiums and other types of groups for purchasing power. Nassau County had created a consortium through their BOCES that they opened up to school districts, municipalities, anybody who wants to participate, but you pay in for the administrative and legal work that they undertake, and they go out to bid for hundreds of items. We had been in the market for a Ford Transit for the Clinton Street Center, and we had found a 2016 on several state contracts and other contracts, but the build-outs were 26 to 32 weeks. So fortunately, by contacting some people at Ford, we were able to find a 2015 brand new with the specs that we wanted on a lot at a dealership out in, I think it was Mineola, Tower Ford. And they had participated in the Nassau County BOCES Cooperative. So they suggested that if we join the cooperative, we can purchase the car without going through all of the mechanisms you'd have to go through to put together a bid. I ran that by Joel Sachs. I asked him if it was appropriate for us to participate in that type of consortium. He said yes, not a problem. So that's all well and good. The car came Thursday. I'm pretty excited about it. So someone's running to DMV if they haven't done it already to get the plates.
What
And
color?
It's dark blue.
Okay.
So you'll see that on the road, and it's nice to have that before winter.
So this replaces a Ford Taurus that we've had for a good long while and doesn't owe us anything. So.
Correct.
All right, great. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 190. Mindy, you're getting the tough ones
I
tonight.
thought you were
Yeah.
supposed to give these all to Storgiati.
No,
I mean,
Cunningham.
he's the one
They go
that's
to
supposed to.
Cunningham, but he
I know,
left.
Cunningham. What's
Yeah.
wrong with him?
It's like a short
Resolved that
straw.
the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments: transfer of funds for over budget accounts, $5,700 from contingency to Village Hall elevator service, $3,001 from benefit New York State retirement system to benefit unemployment insurance, $1,840 from contingency to water, internet, and email. That's an interesting combination.
Water, internet, email.
$6,557 from contingency to refuge sick buyout. $3,849 from contingency to refuge vacation buyout for a total of $20,947. And a transfer of funds from special revenue fund Parkland deposits recreation fees to the capital fund, increasing revenues and expenses for the purchase of the senior center vehicle, $24,934 from interfund transfer to senior vehicle, and an increased revenue and expense for the federal grant awarded to the Pleasantville Strong Coalition for the Drug Free Communities DFC support program, $125,000 from federal aid DFC grant to it's broken up into three categories.
No, more.
More.
Than
Goes
that,
on the
pardon me.
second
$4,991 DFC grant part-time, $19,765 DFC grant travel costs, conference and training, $14,700 to grant supplies, $13,900 to grant other, $70,014 to DFC grant contractual, $1,304 to the DFC grant employee benefits Social Security, $326 to the DFC Grant Employee Benefits Medicare, for a total of $125,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
So again, as you have heard before, this reflects the fact that the village is the fiscal agent for this grant. That'll be $125,000 a year for each of 5 years to Pleasantville Strong, with the potential for its renewal for an additional 5 years, setting up the accounting mechanisms for us to fulfill that role.
So this is not an actual transfer of funds for any. We're not spending any money. We're budgeting $125,000 that we're expecting to get or already got. I don't know. If we
No,
got it this year, but-
we've not gotten it yet, but we need to record the grant, and
And
then we draw
you're
down.
laying out the plan for how we
That is
expect to
correct.
be spending that money over the course of the year.
That's
When
already-
when we applied for the grant, you had to submit a budget. So that was part of the approval process. So
Yep.
these are sort of the broad categories that fit into our
Right. How are you gonna
money
use it?
pockets.
Sure.
Right.
Will these breakdowns stay the same each year?
No.
Okay.
And it may adjust
And we
throughout
can
the year.
adjust 25% of any
Any
category
one
can
line?
move around as long as that category existed.
Oh, okay.
Since it's
So-
speculative, obviously,
yeah.
this was a good faith effort, but
Yeah.
it may turn out to.
Sure.
So the mechanism next year going forward will have to be having it come into this federal aid account and then parceling it out as broken
Right.
down, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It's just like we set our operating budget, they need to set an operating budget, and they have a right to manipulate it up to 25%. And if they do
Noreen-
that, they'll send us a resolution, and we'll bring that, to move the money.
And Noreen and Mary have been involved in, the forms that will be used and, all of that. So
Yeah.
they've been fantastic.
And as Colleen mentioned, the administrator to be hired will
Yes.
be managing this process and the interface to our finance department
Yes.
to make that all happen. So it's really, really good news for the village of Pleasantville to have this resource over the coming 5 years and hopefully over the coming 10 years.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on, somebody asked me this weekend whether this kind of thing, not specific to this particular grant, which is increasing our budget and increasing our expense by an equal amount to the grant, has an effect on the tax cap because we're spending more money. The answer to that is it's not related to the tax cap. The tax cap refers to the amount of money we raise from property taxes from our property owners. So in a situation like this where monies come to us for a grant and then are expended, it increases our revenue line, it increases our expense line, but it has no effect on our property tax levy because we don't need to raise any more money from the property tax levy. So
Good question, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a question that is worth exploring, and I'm quite sure the property tax cap will be a subject of discussion not only for us as we start our way into the budget process after the new year, but also at tomorrow night's joint meeting with the school board, where the tax cap, which is called a 2% tax cap, is actually a variable number that this year is well below 1%. And creates a whole bunch of issues for all of us.
We'll be at low 1% for towns. We didn't get ours yet.
So, stay tuned on all of that. Any further comment on 190 budget amendments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 191, Colleen.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Public Works and the Village Administrator, hereby promotes Sam Mazzulli to the position of Lead Maintenance Mechanic, Garage, effective November 9, 2015, at a salary of $78,090. Said appointment is subject to the rules and regulations of Westchester County Department of Human Resources. That includes a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sam's a longstanding employee at the village, and this reflects a change that came about with the reorganization of the department a bit with the retirement of Andy Foka.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 192, Joe.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, October 26, 2015, and they are hereby approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just a reminder that the minutes make reference to the presentation by our auditors of the fiscal year 2014-2015 audit. Is that up on the web now, Patty?
Yes.
Okay, great. So-
You know what, the full audit is, I didn't put the abstract that he'd given us, but I do have it, so I'll
Okay,
put up
let's
the
put that up
executive
too. So, anybody who would like to dig into the details, not only of our budget, but of our audit of the budget, can get it at pleasantville-ny.gov. As mentioned, the full audit is up in a PDF form right now. There was a sort of an executive summary document that O'Connor Davies provided that will also be up shortly. So, It was all in all good news and worth reading for anyone who's a little bit of a civics geek. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. We have an additional resolution, which is 193.
Yep.
193, Judy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall I?
Yeah, Steve.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Holy Innocents Church to close the Tompkins Avenue parking lot on Tuesday, December 1st, 2015 at 4 p.m. for a special event.
Is there a second?
Second.
Opportunity to remind people again that the parking lot at the corner of Manville and Tompkins is actually owned by Holy Innocents Church, and we have a cooperative arrangement whereby, in exchange for our maintaining it, quite a number of the spots are available most of the time for public parking. Thanks to Holy Innocents for that, and we are happy, obviously, to approve their use of their own property for a special event.
It's a lovely event.
The annual Parish Advent Tea for Women. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. So that is the last of our resolutions. Did anybody have any new business? We'll be headed back into executive session on advice of counsel, matters of real estate, and I wanted to remind everybody again that tomorrow night, Tuesday, November 10, 7:30 p.m. at Pleasantville High School is the joint meeting of this board with the Pleasantville Board of Education. We encourage anyone with questions or interest in that to attend or watch. Is there a motion to adjourn and go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. See you soon. Again, Veterans Day ceremony this Wednesday, November 11 at 11 a.m. at the gazebo. Thank you all. Good night.